interact with others, but we were still able to communicate online. I want you all to keep in mind that not everyone had access to fast internet these last 2 years, and I want you to think about how you would have lived without it. Our goal for this project is determining how to minimize the digital divide. Before we can answer this question, we need to explore what the digital divide is and why it is an issue. The digital divide is defined as the gap between people who have sufficient knowledge of and access to technology and those who do not. We will be answering important questions such as, who is most affected? What problems are we running into regarding minimizing the gap? And even why it's growing. COVID created an incredible and even necessary dependency on the internet and technology. Students weren't guaranteed access to internet and technology when they were ultimately sent home and expected to continue school. Some reasons why students might not have access to fast internet is that they can't afford it, it isn't available in their area, or maybe they don't even have a computer device to access the internet on. It is important to understand that the issue is not only whether some have access, but it could be that someone is not educated to use the technology they were given. Pre-COVID, technology and the internet was more of a strong recommendation. But after COVID hit, the education system changed as we know it, and it became a requirement. Some students might not have the internet because they are forbidden to by their parents or guardians. Americans know of the threats of cyber attacks, and they can have other rather outlandish beliefs, such as the fact that the government can control and see you with the help of the internet and a personal computer. It is also our responsibility to spread awareness on what is reliable in sources and in information, as there is more and more potential for misinformation spreading, and the fact that it's easier to stumble upon is more incentive to educate.
According to the North Carolina Commerce, the county is considered rural if the population density is 250 people per square mile or less. The households most affected by the digital divide are in these rural counties. Because of the great distance between households in rural counties, it is difficult to efficiently place internet access to connect multiple people over a large area. The infrastructure is just not there, and it is a large expense. The bigger issue is that some areas don't have access to cellular data either, so using smartphones is not an alternative for certain households. The data sets that we use in this research were from NC1 MAP data, UNC System Office data for college attainment rates, and the census from 2020 and ACS 2015 to 2019 for income, commuters, place of work, housing, population, and educational data were all used and provided for our use. The data sets were merged based on the respondent's county, and each county was labeled as rural or urban based on the North Carolina's 2015 definition of rural. In this chart, we can see that 6,400 households did not have access to the internet in rural areas, while 5,400 households didn't have internet in urban areas. Even though more households from urban areas were surveyed, there were more responses from rural areas that said they did not have access to the internet. There's also a large gap for those that do have internet, those that are considered connected, which is 25 download speed and 3 upload speed. In urban areas, the amount of households that have this higher connection is much larger than those in rural areas, while those that responded with under 25 3 connection are similar in both demographics. Some additional data that will be helpful is a survey about why someone may choose not to have internet access, a perspective from people without internet access of why they don't, more recent data, and a survey with the cost of internet per year of certain households.
Because of the lack of internet households have in rural areas, it is crucial to provide them with the tools necessary to have them succeed. We saw in 2021, Roy Cooper allocated $12 million to rural areas to help lower the amount of people without the infrastructure for data. We saw a 6% increase in households that obtained fast internet when he allocated these funds.